Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is something that shocked me, that I learned throughout this semester. This includes my core class, but also a lot of the other teaching classes that I've taken. Honestly, both this semester and in past semesters, I've been kind of like, this has been building up. So, something that shocked me is how much is expected of teachers. It just seems like teaching is a really hard profession, and I still really want to be a teacher. But it's just one of those things that as I keep learning about it, I keep saying, wow, there are so many things that are expected of teachers. So, I mean, you have like the basic things like being a professional and meeting, standards, um, that you're teaching to your students. But along with that, you are also expected to teach every single student in your class the way that they need to be taught. And so that means differentiating your content based on the students in your class. And you could have, 30 students in your class and finding out ways that you need to deliver that content best for every single one of those students is just a huge weight, I think. It is kind of something that like we just talk about, like, oh yeah, you just, make it work for everyone, like it's so easy, but it's really a lot. Um, and aside from that, there's things like being conscious of who you are when you're out in public, because people could be watching you, and you really have to keep a very professional look about you, especially if you're working with kids. And so I think that's just a challenge. And then I think there's also other stuff that comes into schools that ends up kind of falling on teachers, that is just hard things in the world to deal with, like health issues with kids. So that could be obesity or even hunger problems that you're dealing with the students in your class, and you have to try to do what you can to help those students to be the best that they can be. And then there's also mental health that they can be struggling with. And so there's just so many things that I think kind of fall on the backs of teachers. And I think it's great that we get the opportunity to be able to help kids in all of these ways. But it can feel very overwhelming just thinking about, you already have this whole list of standards that you have to meet just teaching, and then you have to do all this other stuff on top of it to make your teaching effective. And so that is something that shocked me.